We are live. Let me do a little refresh. I know we are super early. Let me doing some behind the scenes. Let's see. Welcome. I am early because I wanted to get some of the technical stuff done. So if you are here, go ahead and, of course, invite. We are like 3 minutes into it. I'm sharing live somewhere else. So come on in. Let me make sure. Okay. I need to mute that. Let's get that down. We are here. We are live. Yep. So no one is here yet, but we're recording. So let me go ahead and get a lot of the stuff out the way. Welcome. I see a couple of people are joining. Let me see. We are a few minutes early. Turning music. Hey. It's I ain't gonna lie, it's hard doing it on 2 different platforms. Come on in. Come on in. We're not gonna be long, so if you're coming in after the 7 o'clock window, yeah. Welcome. I'm attempting to get where I can see the comments on this screen, so just bear with me. We got a lot going on. I see you. I see you coming. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna do this so I can see. Yep. So we are live and I can see that there. That's perfect. If you are in, I see we got 2 or 3 people on 2 different platforms. Once you come in, let me know where you're checking in from. Yeah. We are here. Welcome. It's not quite 7 yet, so let's see. I got quite a few people blowing my phone up too. So once I go live, I'm not gonna be able to check the phone. So let me know where you're checking in from. I guess I can go ahead and send out a couple more invites. Let's go. We are live. Let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know. I see you. Someone's trying to log in. Okay. All right. Let's go. It's 7 o'clock on the dot. So I'm gonna give it about, let's get to 2 minutes. I am sharing it in a few more places. This is gonna be an interesting conversation. So I hope you're ready. And I want it to be very interactive. So like I said, right now I see we got 2 or 3 people on. Let me know where you're checking in from. Welcome. I got it. 1 minute. All right, I'm sending the invite. Let me know where you're checking in from. 1 minute. It seems like look, that 1 minute is going so slow. All right. I just sent it out. Let me know where you're checking in from. Tanya, hey. I got one person that's Okay, hold on. I promise y'all, we're gonna send these invites. That's why next time we're gonna make sure the people that have it have it. If you don't, you don't. That's how they go. One more person to send it to, and then we're gonna start. Like I said, let me know where you're checking in from, and we're gonna get started. Yeah. Hey, let me know where you're checking in from. Doing a little behind the scenes sharing. Sharing is caring, right? All right. One more person. One more. Okay, I got you. I'm coming. All right. Okay. Welcome. Let me know where you're checking in from. We are live. Let me know where you're checking in from. This is like 2, 3, 4, 5 platforms at once. Yeah. One more, I promise y'all. One more. I'm gonna send out one more. Let me know where you're checking in from. Got 3 people on. All right. I see you. All right. We are about to get started. One more thing. All right, Kim, I see you are coming in, checking in from Atlanta. Sonia, I know you're here, so we got 3, 4, 5 people here, and then on the other one, that is what I was doing. For some reason, the link, when I open it, it cut off part of the link. So we're gonna go ahead and get started for those that have showed up on time. And I want this to be interactive. I can see y'all comment, so be very, very interactive. Okay. So the first thing, I want to welcome everybody that tuned in tonight, you guys. We're not going to be long, but it's going to be some great information, and we're gonna laugh, we're gonna talk, take some notes. For those of you that drink water, it's very important. Drink some water. We're gonna get started. So, for those of you that don't know me, I am Sondra Burton. I have been doing this thing called money, finance, accounting. This year makes 30 years. Can y'all believe that? Can y'all believe I've been doing this 30 years? I've had all kind of roles as a controller, VP, CFO. I've had all of those wonderful titles in this world. However, the most important one right now is, guess what? Founder. I am the founder of Certified Platinum Financial Services. We're located in Decatur. I say it's greater. I believe it's greater because I'm there, right? So talk back to me. Tonight, right now, we're going to be talking about we named it Financial Talk Tuesday a while back. However, it got to the point where it was so many things, because you got to think about finances is not just one thing. Finances is everything. So this particular one, we're going to be talking about your budget. A lot of people don't have one. A lot of people just get paid one day. The next day they're broke. So we're going to talk about how important that budget is, what it is, how to manage it, and how to be better stewards of your money. Is that okay with y'all? All right. Oh, thank you, Kim. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Most people, you really think about it, they're not broke because they don't make enough money. They don't have money because guess what? They don't know where it goes. Y'all have no idea. When I'm sitting down talking to someone, and I'm like, okay, how much money do you make? Well, how much are your expenses? And they have no idea. All they know is this comes out on this time of the week, this comes out this time of the month, and I pay. once you get into a habit of creating a budget, you know whether or not you're within your budget or not. So tonight we're going to talk about 3 things. And what we're going to talk about, we're going to discuss them, and I want y'all to be real interactive on this. We're going to talk about how small spendings add up. We're going to talk about how sometimes we have these subscriptions. We're going to talk about convenient spending, and we're going to talk about emotional spending. That's one of the ones that most people, women, they say we are emotional creatures, and we get emotional and we start spending money. But, some of us just came out of a real big snowstorm. Let me know in the comments that while you were in the snowstorm, did you get on Amazon? Did you get on the internet? Did you make some purchases that you was just like, it's cold outside, I need this, you pick up your phone, I need this, I need that. Well, that's kind of what we call in the financial world emotional spending. So also what it is sometimes when you're home, by a show of hands, how many of y'all have gotten home and you're tired and now you don't want to cook? So what's the first thing we do? We grab our phone and we do what? Uber Eats, DoorDash. Well, guess what? Those spendings add up. No matter how much you have a subscription to some of these services, you know what? If you order DoorDash 3-4 times a week, your money is gone. Yes. And a lot of times right now it used to be just regular good old-fashioned cable. Well, now there are subscription services. There's subscription services for Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime. And you'll be surprised on you think you're saving and you're not. By the time you add up a subscription here, subscription there, you might as well just go ahead and now got the old-fashioned Comcast back. Now, the worst thing about that is you've gotten a subscription and you done forgot about the subscription. How many of y'all have ever done that? Now, I'm not even gonna lie. During football, when it first started, we wanted to look at a certain game and we had to have this subscription service. When I tell you we did it, I'm guilty. I'm never going to be in a position to say, hey, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. So that is where the subscriptions now can add up. Also, we want to talk about how sometimes we get caught up in the Joneses, like what they're doing and what they're buying. By a show of hands, matter of fact, leave me some fire emojis or something. If anybody has ever gone for a Starbucks run and it was just like, hey, Kim, hey, Sonia, if y'all want some coffee, you be like, you really don't want none, but everybody else drinking it, so you be like, okay, let me get some. So, those $6-7 cups add up. Well, that is what we're talking about. Those things could very well or may not be in your budget. So we're going to move on. And that is how people, you want to be able to track things like that, because guess what? Too much spending in those categories, you've already, guess what? Spent the money that you need that you could possibly pay off some debt or pay a bill down. Now, the most important thing we're going to talk about tonight is, what is a budget? Well, there's a 50-30-20 rule. Before I go on, anybody out there has heard of a 50-30-20 rule? I'm going to pause for a minute. Let me know, have you heard of the 50-30-20? Anybody? All right. I'm going to tell you what a 50-30-20 rule. The 50 is 50% of our spending is supposed to go toward our needs. The 30 is supposed to go toward our wants. And then the other 20 is supposed to go into an investment type area now that we can do some other things. The most important bucket is that 50% bucket. A lot of us don't realize our needs for our wants. Well, let me go through those needs. Your needs would be your housing, your utilities, your food, transportation, and insurance. Is it safe to say everything in that category is not a want, it's a need? You got to have some place to lay your head. If you got a place to lay your head, guess what? You're going to have utilities. You got to be able to have some form of transportation. Even though you may not have a car, guess what? Uber and Lyft is what? Transportation. So you got to be able, even Marta, you got to be able to get back and forth to where you're going. Now, I met a young lady, you guys, it was maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. And she said she did on purpose that she did the what you call it, like the work, play, live, or whatever. So she didn't really need a car because everything was in walking distance. Now, that's the difference. I'm sure when you go and stay at places like the Atlantic Station, that cost of living is not the regular normal cost of living. So although the transportation would not be in that factor, guess what? There are other things now because the housing has gone up. All right. Now let's talk about the 30. The 30 will be your want. How many of us want to go shopping? How many of us want to travel? How many of us want some form of entertainment? How many of us want now extra subscriptions? Things like that. Believe it or not, your wants will add up. If you do too much shopping, if you do too much traveling, if you do too much Amazon buying, Sephora buying, you're gonna now that 30, it maybe comes to a 40. So it's like putting things in perspective. Now, I'm not saying with the high cost of, gas and electric like that, it's not weighing in on that. That's, you can't control. Now, if you could control the price of gas and oil and things like that, then I'm sure we could probably be a little bit more in those areas. But those wants, you can't control. And last but not least, I tell people when I first sit down with them, I like to change the 30 to the 20 and the 20 to a 30. Because if we can change that 20 to now our wants and then the 30 to investment, is it safe to say we will get out of debt a lot sooner than later? Just a 10% pivot, just a 10%. Now we can make some changes. And they're not big changes. Now, the thing of all those wants, can you now do a little less shopping? Can you do a little less of entertainment? A little less of traveling? A little less of now ordering on Amazon? All I would need is 10%. So if you took that 10% now and put it on the investment side, what is the investment side, sir? Well, glad you asked. The investment for some people is your tithes and offerings. The investment for some people is your emergency or your mini emergency. And last but not least, that financial freedom account that a lot of people like to say is retirement. When I talk to people daily, a lot of people do not have enough money saved for retirement. If you have not sat down and talked with someone, so now they can make those numbers add up to the way the inflation is going, then guess what? You will look up, you will retire, and you'll be like, man, I got to go back to work. And that's the last thing we want you to do is to go back to work, because retirement should be something you should look forward to. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about right now is your lifestyle should not be faster or more than your income. How do you say that, Sondra? Okay, I'm glad you asked. So if your lifestyle is built on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of going out, brunching, going to concerts, then that adds up, because I'm sure when you go to those places as women, what do we want? We got to get our hair done. You got to get your nails done. You got to get an outfit. Believe it or not, some of those small pivot changes of doing those things like that, now, guess what? We said now your luxury now is taken away from your actual income. Now, I want to now that we're discussing this budget, where you're saying, Sondra, how can I get on this budget? Who can help me with this budget? Well, that is what we do. At Certified Platinum Financial Services, we just don't meet with you once a year. What we do is we want to make this thing a year-round basis, because is it safe to say if we met quarterly, just quarterly, I mean, I would love to meet with you every other month, but if I met with you quarterly, giving you some tips and tricks on adjusting the 50, 30, 20, is it safe to say your lifestyle would be much, much better? Well, that is what we're talking about. Let me look in the comments. Kim said, yes, change is good. Sonia says, it'll make you broke. Right. Too much spending, it will make you broke. You're absolutely right on that. Now, when we're looking and studying things like that, is you want to be able to help people. You can't just stop it all of a sudden. What we do is we give you baby steps on now. How can we do that? One of the easiest way is we start with subscriptions. We put in a tracker to let you know, guess what? You got a subscription to Netflix. You got a subscription to Hulu. And once we add that up, a lot of people are like, hey, I didn't realize I was spending that kind of money a month on just subscriptions. You got to pull out the good old fashioned iPad or Kindle and read or do something like that, because now those subscriptions, like we said, adds up. Now, once we're able to do that, before we do that, we got to be able to track it. Sometimes, a lot of people are not computer savvy. Well, we have an app for that. We put everything in this app. And guess what? Not only does this app track those things like that, it tells you now, with a person your age in your area, how do you fall in that category? It's life changing, because right now, if you're falling in the bottom half and you're overspending, that's a wake up call. Having me being a FATMent, which is your financial accountability partner, that's something we have to sit down, we have to talk about, we have to look at. Now, as a financial plug, y'all know I hashtag that out. I kill it. I want to be able to help you to get through some of these things right here. I'm going to give you a little homework for those of you that are on now. I want you to get your bank statements for the last 2 months, right? And I want you to literally take out an hour of the day and do this for me. I want you to now go through in those 50, 30, 20 that I told you. I want you to do an old-fashioned manual audit on that. Take the 50% and say, okay, my needs. If Georgia Power is on there, I know some of you use Kahoma Power is on there, then we know that is going to go in the 50% category. That is a need. So once you put everything in a category and you look at that, and you'll be able to say, now I do have a budget. There is some things where it may be a little, off. That is just a small pivot change that you can do now that can actually improve your lifestyle and also your legacy. Now, of course, if you need a little help in identifying some things like that, there's always a free consultation with me. It's in the link. Just book it. We'll talk, and I'll show you how to get that done. So what I want to do is, I'm looking at my notes right now. That is it. It was just a quick 20-minute live where we talk about Financial Talk Tuesday, and we attempt to get you in control of your money. So with these bills, is it safe to say on the 4 things that I'm always talking about is your bills, your taxes, your debt, and last but not least, your credit? If we take the first 3 and they go down, automatically, guess what? Your credit goes up. So what we want to do is, we want to be able to take baby steps. And yes, you guys, taking out a regular sheet of paper, writing these things down, and making you accountable for these things will definitely make your lifestyle and your legacy a lot better. So I'm going to stop. Remember, I told you it was going to be a quick in and out. I want to stop, and I want to ask you, anybody have any questions on what we just discussed tonight when it comes down to your bills, your budget, your expenses? All of those things kind of mean the same thing. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm looking at the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. Also, I want to know, if you don't have any questions, do you track these things? And is tonight the first time you heard of the 50, 30, 20 rule? Kim says facts. Absolutely. Okay, so I guess I did a very good job of explaining those things. Come back next week, where we're probably gonna talk. I think we're gonna always talk about the 4 pillars, which is like what I just said: your debt, your credit, your bills, budget, and last but not least, your taxes. Which one do you want me to go to next? Let's do a poll. Do you want me to jump into the tax side of it? Do you want to jump into the debt side of it? Do you want to jump into the credit side of it? Sonya said, this is our first time hearing of the 50, 30, 20 rule. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? For us as adults, you think if we teach this to our kids in an early basis, how much greater their life is going to be. Especially if you see where now your wants, if those wants go over that 30%, there's something you wanting too much. Like, for real. This was the first time I heard of the 50, 30, 20. Really? Yay. I'm happy. Comment down below if y'all want me to send you. I have a worksheet that it's manual. Like I said, I do have an app that I am personally building because it's something about this being my 30th year. that you got to improve. And there's so many things out there that we need. Tools make you a better person. Every professional use tools. So, all right, Kim said next week she's gonna hear it come back to the tax out of it. But that's we eat, sleep, drink taxes. We don't eat, All right, so next week we will definitely talk about taxes. All right, you guys, I'm not going to hold you anymore. I really thank y'all for joining in, jumping in. This has been an amazing conversation tonight. Sleep well, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you again for joining. Bye.